Hi, everybody. This is Helena Hart. Welcome to the Master Your Magnetism podcast, where I bring on top experts to help you create the life and relationship you've always wanted. Today, I'm so excited to be talking with Matt Shaffer again. He's an empowerment, connection, and relationship coach who helps women attract and create the relationship of their dreams. So, welcome, Matt. Thank you for joining me today.
Hey, Helena, it is so wonderful to be back. Literally, one of my favorite things is to come on with you and talk about, the best ways and strategies that we can create meaningful relationship. It's my favorite thing in the whole
We
world.
always have such a good time, and we actually decided to record this as a video for YouTube as well. So if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anywhere else, and you'd like to see a video of this episode, I'll include that in the description or episode details. And today we're going to be talking about 7 signs that a man is emotionally investing in you in order, right, Matt?
Yes, in order, because it is a progression, right? So we're going to be going through these steps from sort of the beginning of getting to know somebody, and as it progresses, the steps will become deeper as they go.
Amazing. This is actually one of my favorite topics to talk about. So I'm just thrilled to be sharing this information today. I don't know what these 7 steps are that you're going to share myself. So I'm hoping to learn a few things here. And is there anything you want to say before we get started?
Yeah, well, I do have a special present for your audience that I'm excited to share with y'all as well. I'm going to be hosting a free challenge where I'm going to be taking you through a series of incredibly powerful steps and exercises to help release any blocks that you may have between where you are and attracting the type of love, or healing the wounds and bringing in the sort of love that you truly want. So it's going to be an incredible 3-week course. It's a $2,000 value, and I'm going to be doing all these steps with live workshops every day, homework every night, in a really fun group activity. And it's absolutely
Amazing.
free. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We've done a lot of these sort of free challenges and free courses together. And Helena, it seems like your community tends to love it, right?
Absolutely. And this is totally free and brand new. So even if someone has taken your free courses in the past, they should sign up for this one.
100%. Yeah, it's going to
Okay.
be a great review of some of the most important key things that stop you from creating the sort of relationship you want. We're going to go through your beliefs. We're going to go through your attachment style. We're going to look at your personality type and help you identify and cultivate awareness around all this stuff, and then help you reverse those beliefs, any beliefs that may be standing between you and the relationship you want. We're going to do all that stuff live in a really powerful live container to change the rest of your life and to help you either heal the relationship you're in, turn it in the right track, let go of trauma from the past, and call in the type of relationship that you're truly worthy of, the one that's an accurate reflection of who you actually are. So it's going to be transformational, and I'm really
That
excited.
sounds amazing. So that'll be the first link in the description or episode details, wherever you're listening to this or watching this, and totally free. I would sign up while it's still being offered at no cost to my community. And let's dive into this topic, Matt. What is the first sign that a man is emotionally investing in a woman?
So it's important to look at, right, the concept of how a man invests, right? When a man invests in something, it's building value for him, right? When he puts money into a account, right, over time, that account has a higher level of value, right, to him. So when a man is investing in you, it means that it's rising your value in his eyes, right? And a man invests in a relationship through action, right? So the more action and activities that he's pouring into you as he gets to know you, right, the more invested he actually is. So these are going to be a series generally of actions that a man takes as his emotional investment in you is deepening. And the first step, and this is going to be right off the bat, is he takes the lead right away. And hopefully you felt this in the past in prior relationships. And I'll use myself as an example in some of these. But a man who is truly activated by you and has that initial sense of, wow, I think I want to emotionally invest in this woman, he's going to move forward. He's going to be pushing the relationship along. On your first date, he's going to be planning your second date, right? If you're talking on a dating app, he's going to be within the first 3-4 days, 5 days, like within the first couple of days, he's going to want to get you on a first date, right? He's going to be you're going to feel the momentum of him wanting to move the relationship forward, right? And I know I felt that very early on in my connection with my queen Callie, where as soon as I met her, I knew that she was someone that I wanted to call into my life, and I made an invitation to her within the first couple of days of meeting her at an out of town event, that if she ever wanted to come down to Austin, I would love to get her a flight down here so that I could show her around and get to know her better. So,
I'm
you know,
so glad we're starting with this one. It's so true. I say this all the time. How things start off in the relationship is typically how they progress. So, an example is if a man is starting off only contacting you a couple times a month, it's
mhm.
sporadic or things have gone stagnant. He doesn't all of a sudden wake up 6 months later and go, I've been breadcrumbing you for the past 6 months. I'm really
Yeah.
sorry about that. I'm going to put both feet in now and pick up the momentum. The tone that's set at the beginning is likely what's going to continue. Now, of course, there's 6 more steps here. So it doesn't mean just because a man's pursuing you strongly at the beginning doesn't mean that he's the one necessarily. But if he's not doing that, I would say he's probably not interested enough to pursue you for something serious, right?
100%. Yeah. If a
Mhm.
man is 1 foot in, 1 foot out, he's ambivalent, or even worse, you feel like you're the one having to sort of like push or pull him forward. Hey, do you want to go out again? You're having to reach back out to
Mhm.
him. You're having to follow up with him. This is a man who isn't in an activated, polarized, masculine driving place with you. And that doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. It means that for whatever reason, he's just not feeling alignment with you. And it's nothing to stress out about, right? But don't put yourself in the position where you're feeling like you're having to push him along and move him
Yes.
forward, right? If it's stagnant and you don't feel him taking action to initiate more dates and take the lead, that's not the kind of guy that you want to be in relationship with. Don't
Yeah.
expect it to get better. Like, just let
Exactly.
it be what
Yeah.
it is.
I was just talking about this with my husband last night. Actually, we were saying that interest kind of wanes over time, right? So, usually at first, a guy knows right away whether or not he's interested in pursuing you for something serious. Now, like I mentioned, it doesn't mean that you're the one and the two of you are going to get married. Obviously, there's a lot that needs to work out after that. But if a guy isn't pursuing you from the beginning, just like you said, he's not going to be emotionally investing in you, most likely. So, this is so great. I'm so glad that we're starting with this one. What is the second sign?
So the second sign is they put actual thought and attention into these early stage dates, right? So
Mm.
while they're taking action and they're taking the lead and they're moving things forward, the dates are actually somewhat thoughtful, right? Maybe if you say you like a particular type of music, right? They get tickets to a concert within that type of music. They take you, you say what your favorite food is while you're chatting with them online, and they get a reservation at a place that's the sort of food that you like. You can just tell that they're going above and beyond. They're paying attention, and they're trying to make the date something that's going to be meaningful for you and create
Mhm.
and cultivate a meaningful experience between the two of you, as opposed to a guy who's just being lazy and being like, want to come over and watch Netflix, right? Or want to just do something random. Like, a guy who's emotionally investing in you is a guy who's going to, go above and beyond to sort of plan some powerful dates for you. So my girlfriend, she was vegan when I met her. She ain't vegan anymore. I've corrupted her. But I always, as soon as I found out she was vegan and she came down to visit me, I was like, okay, where are the vegan restaurants? Like, where can I take her out? Like, just, she loves to hike. So is there a beautiful hike we can go on? Where can we go to the outdoors? Like, I'm adapting the dates to what I know she enjoys and appreciates, because I really do want her to have a good time.
Mhm. I
It's
love it.
important.
Such an important one. I can't tell you how many women I hear from who say that the guy just wants to come over or invites her over, and they're just not putting thought and effort into those early dates. So I'm loving that we're talking about this. What's the third sign that a man's emotionally investing?
Yeah, and this is a sign you'll pick up on too. Again, towards the early stages of getting to know somebody, and hopefully it continues, is that they are genuinely curious about your life. Like, they actually want to hear stories from your childhood. They want to know what kind of kid you were. They want to know what your dynamics were with your family, and they're asking you questions. Right. So if a man is asking you questions, if he's, wow, so what was it like? My girlfriend's from Wyoming. And so I'm just like, Wyoming, I don't know that I've even ever met anybody from Wyoming. What was it like growing up in Wyoming? And so she would tell me these details about how there's beautiful mountains, but the mosquitoes will just eat your flesh, and like the flies like bite you. And it's like, it was like a crazy dichotomy, and the weather is really brutal there. And I'm like, wow, that's actually genuinely interesting to me, because it helps me understand who she is, right? It helps me, because that's the thing. If a man's emotionally investing in you, he's curious about how you became the person that you are today,
Mhm.
and I
Mhm.
bet you husband. He was very curious about
Mhm.
you and your life and all the things going on with you, wasn't
Definitely.
he?
And another thing is he remembered those little details. He remembers things better than I even did. I'm like, oh, I told you about that. I don't even remember. He picks up on these little things. So absolutely. I love that one. Are we on number
Yeah.
4? What's the fourth sign?
Numero cuatro is that they are willing to stretch outside of their comfort zone for you. They
Hmm.
are open to, and as you're getting to know somebody and you're developing a deeper relationship with him, right? I invite you to make an invitation of him to do things that you love to do that are maybe outside of his comfort zone. So this might look like trying something new that they would normally never do. Like my girlfriend would like invite me to go to a like an ecstatic dance event, right? And I am open to doing it. We have not done it yet, but I've told her like I'm open to doing it as long as, I can control the volume for myself. Like I'm not a dancer, but I'm open to doing it with her. Like I'm open to new experiences that I wouldn't otherwise do, right? And because I want to have those experiences with her, and I want her to do the things that she loves. So like whatever it is that she's into, I'm up to explore it. I'm up to explore it with her. So that's one way that we get outside of our comfort zone. And another way that, you can invite a man to get outside of his comfort zone, and that if he does this, he is emotionally invested in you, is he is willing to be vulnerable with
Mm,
you,
that's
right? He's
huge.
willing to be vulnerable with you in a way that might be kind of scary for him. And in my own relationship, this came pretty early on in within a couple of days of meeting Callie. And I felt called to share with her that since the end of my last relationship, that with someone who I thought was my queen, right? Was like my life partner. I had been asking myself, what type of woman do I actually want to share my life with? Who is my queen, and how does she show up in the world? And this is before we were dating or anything. This is when we were just friends, right? And I told her that I was so grateful that I had met her. I told Callie I was so grateful to meet her because she has given me so much clarity around the sort of queen that I want to share my life with. So
Mm,
not even that she was that person, right? I didn't have any expectation that we were going to end up dating or living together like we're doing, right? I just wanted to acknowledge her for embodying so many traits that I wanted to have in a life partner. And that was like a scary thing to say to a potential romantic partner that I'm not even dating yet,
yeah, very
but I was
vulnerable.
inspired to be vulnerable like that with her because I was already finding myself getting emotionally invested in her.
Wow, I love that story. And it's a pretty rare thing for a guy to be vulnerable. They're typically not vulnerable with each other. You don't just open up to your guy friends, right? So if you can be that one person in a man's life that he feels comfortable and safe to open up to like that, he's just going to see you as irreplaceable. And I think it's a great sign that he's emotionally investing in you. Absolutely. Because the guy that isn't doing that isn't going to really want to take those steps and step out of his comfort zone like that. So this is great. What is the fifth sign you wanted to share?
So the fifth sign, and this one is so important, is that they are consistent in how they show up with you. I cannot overemphasize how critical this one is, right? I say
Mhm.
oftentimes to the women that I work with, right, that a man is, what his character is, and what his intentions are with you is not demonstrated through his words, his flapping
Mhm.
gums. It's
Mhm.
demonstrated through his CBOT, consistent behavior over time.
Love
Consistent
that.
behavior over time is the greatest expression of who a man is and what he actually wants to create with you, right? So is he responding to your texts, quickly and dependably, right? Is he planning dates and not leaving things, oh, well, maybe we'll hang out on Friday. Let me get back to you. Right.
Yeah.
He's planning dates concisely and like, he's letting you know. And another big thing is he's emotionally steady with you regardless of what's going on in his own life. So like
Ooh,
he
that's a
might be
great one.
stressed out. You know what I'm saying? He might have a
Mhm.
lot going on in his own life. He might have gotten his ass kicked at work. Boss was a pain in the butt. He lost some big account, who knows, whatever. But he gets home and he checks his baggage at the door and he doesn't take it out on you because he understands that your emotional safety is extremely important to him. In order for that to be cultivated, he has to show up emotionally consistent for you. So is he
Wow.
being consistent, right?
Absolutely. That is such a great one. I hadn't even thought about that one. Consistent behavior over time is so important. And I feel like my husband is so great at this. It's like
I was
you're
going to
his
say,
priority, you know? I can't tell you how many women I hear from who just make excuses for these guys and just give them way, way, way too much benefit of the doubt. And they start spouting out all the excuses that he's been giving her. Like, well, he's so busy right now. He's going through something at work. He's having a family problem or financial troubles. And they're almost like his secretary, just spouting out all the excuses that he's been giving her, when really there's a recognition that this guy is not being consistent over time or making her a priority. So that is huge. I'm so glad that you mentioned that. Is there anything else you want to say on this one, or should we move on to number 6?
So the last thing before we move on to number 6 is I want you to ask yourself a question around, because maybe you're not sure, right? If he's been consistent over time, like you can't think off the top of your head, but a question you can ask yourself is, how do I feel in my body when I'm around him? How do I feel in my body when I think about him? Do I feel safe? Because when a man is consistent with you, it cultivates safety and stability with you, right? Because one of the masculine responsibilities is to be that grounding, safety creating presence in your life. So if you feel safe around him steadily, chances are he's being consistent towards you. If you don't feel safe around him, it's probably one of the reasons is he's not being consistent in the way he's showing up, holding space, listening, in relationship with you. So just keep checking in with that question, and that'll give you the answers you need.
Absolutely. So if you start to feel urgent or off balance, that's a clue that this guy might align perfectly with your old childhood wounds or relationship patterns that haven't worked out in the past. And that can really stir up feelings in us that might feel like love to us, those intense, obsessive highs that can be addicting, right? But it can actually be really destructive. You want to feel safe and actually start to find that really sexy, right? When a guy invests and puts effort in and stays consistent over time. So that is great. You want to move on to number 6 now?
Let's do it. Number 6 is they claim you in a clear and decisive way. This is not a guy after you've been dating him for a couple months being like, so, maybe you like want to just like, do you want to maybe stop seeing other people and just kind of like date each other? I mean, if you're open to it, if not, whatever, it's no big deal. It's not that, right? It's a guy being like, hey, I love being around you. I'm enjoying this very much. And I don't want to see anybody else. And I would love it if, you'd be open to being in a relationship with me where we only see each other. It's a guy, he gives you that sense of he wants to be with you and only you, and he claims you clearly, right? I know I did that in my relationship. Within a week of meeting Callie, I had claimed her, and our relationship went a lot faster than, the traditional standard relationship, but it was a no-brainer for me, right? And when a man is sure about you, when he's emotionally invested in you, he's going to want to not possess you, but claim you as his partner, right? So because he wants to be in that clear cut relationship with you and doesn't want to share you with anybody else. I'm assuming you had something similar happen, didn't you?
That's one of the things I love about our courtship is I found out later that, after our first date, we met online, as most people know, 24 hours actually after I joined the online dating site Bumble. But after our first date, he didn't go on another date with anyone else. He wasn't like trying to still date a bunch of people or anything like that. And so that's something I absolutely loved. He knew what he wanted. It's a very attractive quality. I can't tell you how many women I hear from who say things like, I've been talking to this guy for 6 months or 8 months or 2 years. And we don't really want you talking to a guy for months and months and months. A man knows pretty early on whether or not he's interested in putting both feet in and pursuing you for something serious, or just kind of keeping you around on the back burner and he's not really emotionally investing. So I'm so glad that we're talking about this one too. Are we ready for number 7?
We are ready for number 7. They future build with you. A key concept here is that men are builders, right? And we have a vested interest in the future that we are building for ourselves. So if we start bringing you into that process, if we start talking about trips that we want to take with you months in the future, about, cool places to live, adventures that we want to go on, and there are things out there in the future, and that means that they see you as a part of the future that they're looking to create for themselves, right? They see you potentially as part of their legacy. They see you as potentially part of their family, as part of their career, as someone that they can build a life with. And if a man is not afraid, if a man is really emotionally invested in you, like really, and he's claimed you and he's talking about the future with you, he's all in. He's all in. And that's when you can really be sure that this is a guy who sees you as a sincere long-term partner that he can build a life with, which is
Absolutely
very important.
I love it, especially combined with, I think you called it CBOT, right? Consistent behavior over time. So if a guy does all of these 7 signs in the first, 2 dates, that might actually be a red flag. But
Love
if
bomber.
he stays consistent, yeah, exactly. If he does these in order, that's why I love that we're sharing these in order. If he puts thought into the dates, if he, follows up and he's reliable and dependable, and then he starts to future build with you and he stays consistent over time, that is definitely a sign that he's emotionally investing in you. Absolutely. So do you want to recap these 7 points really quick? And then anything else you want to say about your new free challenge? I would love to hear it.
Absolutely. So step 1, they take the lead right away, right? They go into action, they're planning dates, they're moving things forward, and they're building that momentum that helps you feel safe and grounded. Number 2 is they take actual thought and actual care into planning early stage dates. They've listened to the things that you've said about your preferences and things that you enjoy, and the dates are tailored to you because they want to share and cultivate a beautiful experience with you, right? And number 3 is they are genuinely curious about you, about the details of your life, about your family, about where you're from, about what you're into. Like they make an effort, right? They're genuinely interested in what type of dancer you were. I know I've learned a lot about dancing in the past 8 months with my wonderful partner Callie, because she was a professional dancer for a long time, so it's been fascinating to learn about that stuff, and I really enjoy it, right? Number 4, they're willing to stretch outside of their comfort zone with you, for you, right? So they're willing to go to a dance class. They're willing to maybe go to an event or a social thing that they would never normally do, right? Because they know it's important to you, and they're willing to prioritize and put your needs and your fun above their comfort, right? So if a man's willing to get uncomfortable, either by having a new experience or maybe by being vulnerable with you and sharing something that he's thinking or feeling that is tough for him, that's probably a good sign that he's moving down into this deeper level of emotional investment with you, right? And number 5 is the big CBOT, consistent behavior over time. They are consistent in the way that they show up for you, and that cultivates a feeling of safety. They call when they say they're going to call. They text back promptly. They're always on time for the things that they say they're going to do, right? And that consistency cultivates a sense of safety in your body that helps you feel like, okay, this is someone that I want to be with, right? Then number 6 is they claim you in a clear and decisive way, meaning they don't leave any room of, are we in a relationship? Are we not in a relationship? Am I just sleeping with this guy? Like, what is this? No, they say, hey, do you want to be my girlfriend? Do you want to be in a relationship with me? Right? Because they want you to be their partner. They don't want to share you with anybody else, not because they're possessive psychos, but because they're emotionally invested in you and they don't want the possibility of losing you to somebody else. And they want you to understand that they really care about you, And then number 7 is they are future building with you. They are talking about the future, the potential future that the two of you could have together. They've already claimed you, and now they're looking into their down the road, and they're saying like, wow, wouldn't it be cool to go to Greece next year? What if we went on this trip? Wouldn't it be cool to like maybe have kids? Like they're like open to talking about this stuff, because men are looking towards the future and asking themselves, who do I want to be and what do I want to create? What do I want to build? And if they're talking about the future with you, it's because they want to build a future with you. So these are 7 signs sort of in the progression that they happen that are demonstrative that a guy is like becoming emotionally invested in you. And so as he's doing these steps, keep inviting him forward, and inviting him deeper into that. And if he's the right kind of guy for you, if he's aligned with you, then he's going to come along, right? And if he's not, fantastic, let him go. because there are other men out there, I promise. And if you want to get some live coaching and support from me around how to create the relationship of your dreams, on how to let go of anything that's standing in the way between you and that relationship, I am doing a magnetic love challenge. We're going to announce the dates here very soon, and they'll be posted in the description. Okay. And it's going to be coaching with me and some awesome exercises and worksheets around how to flip your beliefs. So there's going to be live training videos with this too on how to identify and flip your beliefs, how to identify your personality type and your attachment style, so you can identify and shift any patterns that may be keeping you from creating the sort of relationship that you truly want and move you forward into attracting the relationship that you really want. Because at the end of the day, you are inherently, fundamentally magnetic. You have a capacity to be irresistible to whatever type of relationship that you want, right? And what I want to help you do is I want to help you unlock that. And it's going to be absolutely free, live coaching and support and community with me. So I hope you check out that link and come along, because it's going to be a lot of fun. And I guarantee you, you will have some awesome transformations along the way.
Absolutely. For those of you who don't know, Matt is like the king of over delivering. He does so much personalized coaching and help in these free challenges and courses. So I'm so thrilled to be able to offer this to my community. Is there any last words of wisdom you want to share before we close out here today?
If I were to say one last thing, I would say, like, if you're listening to these things that I'm saying and you're saying, oh, well, this may be applicable to some people, but it's not applicable to me, I want you to know it is applicable to you. Every single human out there, every single woman listening to this, you are worthy of being in a profound, heart exploding, dynamic relationship with a man who truly sees and cherishes and honors you and celebrates you for exactly who you are. And if you are not receiving that, or if you've got some sort of belief that maybe you're not worthy of that, or that you should settle for something less, that's a huge sign that there's a little bit of work to do to get all that stuff out of there, because you are fundamentally, inherently worthy of a wonderful relationship because you're here, because you exist, and especially because you're willing to do this work. So if you're listening to this, this is not an accident, right? It is a sign that you're ready. And I would love to help you. So just let go of all that negative self-talk and trust the process.
That is beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. This was such a fun video to record. I hope we can do another one soon. For everyone listening, make sure to join Matt's free challenge while it's still being offered at no cost to the women in my community. That'll be the first link in the description or episode details. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel if you're watching on YouTube. And I will see you next time. Matt, thank you so much again. This was great.
It was so much fun, Helena. I'll see you soon. Bye, ladies. Hopefully see you soon.